That security footage that captured the moment that this high-speed chase ended in Baltimore at this intersection where that crash happened, and sadly also a pedestrian was on that corner and took the worst of that hit that then collapsed a good portion of that building. So the police, as they chase this guy down, it's one of those normal police chase things where you're not sure exactly what it is they're looking for, how long they're gonna continue this, with the possibility of so many other things going wrong. We've seen this story before, but let's check out the story from inside that car that was chasing the suspect. Let's watch this.
It's running good, guys. It's westbound in St. Clair. It's traveling at a high rate of speed. It looks like it's gonna go southbound on Wolfe and come out and the man's not moving pretty good. Southbound. Yeah, just hit a car, collapsed building just fell on it, North Wolfe. Get some units, a couple medics. Hit a civilian vehicle, the building collapsed on it, on both vehicles. Start a couple medics on the Signal 13, Signal 13, north and wall.
Let me see it! 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 Hey, give me your hands!
Crazy enough, the folks in that car were fine, survived and everything, but the family of this victim was 54-year-old Alfred Fincher. They were upset that this continued to this extent, and then of course led to this accident happen that took his life. The officer did not break off the pursuit, is what Alfred Fincher is dead. That's what Divya Potdar, who's a Baltimore attorney and representing Fincher's surviving family, told folks. She said officers should be better trained to not needlessly pursue stolen vehicles. In this particular case, that's it. Here's Fincher. He was the father of 3 and also a grandfather as well, walking along the street and never saw it coming. Now there are some rules in some states and laws and everything as far as police breaking off pursuits when it comes to stolen property, without, I guess, the assessment that there are a direct danger to the cops that they're, I guess, running from in this particular case. Baltimore Police policy says that officers can chase a fleeing vehicle if there's a felony suspect inside who poses an immediate threat of death or injury, and if there's probable cause before the pursuit that he or she committed a felony that resulted or could have resulted in death or serious injury. So maybe they first flashed their lights on this suspect, he took off, and they're like, okay, pursue him a bit, and then you're supposed to break it off at some point to prevent something like this from happening. Because maybe the reasons that they're going at these types of speeds is because they're being pursued. We've seen this so many times before, Dan. And maybe it's tough to say, well, just stop chasing him. But when this is the result, we can then say it in hindsight. Maybe think about it before we get to this point. It's very sad.
Yeah, I think the practice of these high-speed chases, especially in very residential areas where you have like very narrow streets and a lot of pedestrians going through, is difficult. On the one hand, like it's hard to control these criminals and what they're doing. On the other hand, we have so much surveillance and so many like cameras everywhere. Like I think you have to think there would have been other ways to track down or catch this person through like the technology and police work that unfortunately we have to deal with in this society, without having the mitigations and perhaps creating some benefits that essentially make it so that we can have we can avoid these civilian casualties and civilian deaths, because it's just so awful to see like your last moments are someone crashes into you and then you crash into a building and the building crushes you. It's horrifying.
We've seen other ones, I believe it was in the DC area. It wasn't necessarily a police chase, but an officer was just speeding. And I think they said he was even racing. It was just a very incredibly irresponsible action that wasn't even involving a suspect. So of course, when it comes to chasing someone down, maybe it's a calm night or something. It's something that gets people's juices flowing, and they just want to take part in this chase and get it over with. I understand that urge, but then think one more step ahead. It's horrible. And look, this is going to turn into this charges, of course, for the driver of the stolen vehicle and all that, and potentially, I assume this family's gonna want some kind of responsibilities put on these folks who pursued, especially if they directly violated their way of doing this.